Hi YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. I missed a week because of Christmas, but I'm back. It's December 31st, so New Year's Eve. I had a really good holiday season. My mom came to visit. I wanted to to film and post some content during that time, but I really just decided to be present and just enjoy that holiday. So I'm back today, and what I really wanted to do before I go out to eat is just talk with you guys very briefly about some of the books that I'm really excited to read in 2025. I have a personal reading goal of 20, and I only have 7 books that are listed here that I'm super excited to read for next year, so I'm kind of excited to see where the other 13 take me. And then after that, I wanted to give you guys kind of a haul of what I got for Christmas because it's very bookish indeed. So the first book that I'm very excited to read in 2025 is called Dinner for Vampires: Life on a Cult TV Show While Also in an Actual Cult by Bethany Joy Lenz. You may be familiar with her. She's most well known, I'm pretty sure, for her starring role on One Tree Hill, which was like a cult classic on TV. She was Haley James Scott. I actually watched that show. I was going through a phase where I watched Gossip Girl 90210, and I started One Tree Hill, but I never finished it, so I'll probably revisit it. But she came up for me because she's also the star of my favorite Christmas movie of all time as of last year, A Biltmore Christmas. And so I was watching that. I don't know, I just felt very drawn to her, and I looked her up. And then when I looked her up on Instagram, I saw, oh, she was on One Tree Hill, but then I also saw that she had this book where she talked about how she was in a cult and she got out of it. And I was just super intrigued. There's something about her that I was just drawn to. So I've already started reading the book. I am on page, let's see, I'm on page 67. I think there's 300 something pages in this book, and I love it. I love it. I love her writing style. I love the way she describes things. I can identify with the book because she was raised Christian, and so was I. I'm still a Christian, and so the terms that she uses are very second nature to me. But I like that for people who have not ever been exposed to these things, she explains it in such a way that I never would have thought to, because I'm that's just natural to me, but she really makes the language accessible. And also just reading about her plight, I really like that she talks about how, this specific cult she was in, they didn't do anything crazy like make them drink something or psychedelic drugs or marrying off, little kids. It wasn't anything like that, but they did steal $2 million for her. And she talks about how when she tells people she was in a cult, they're looking for something sensationalistic. And she's like, it doesn't have to be that for it to be a cult. And also, her experience is valid. And I think the most important thing that she tries to highlight here is that anybody is susceptible to finding themselves in a cult. I found myself in that way of thinking where I'm just like, that can never happen to me. I would never be that. I hate to say the word dumb, but we think that way sometimes. And I'm just like, this is really highlighting, it can be really easy to fall into something like that. I find myself when I'm reading some of the things that the cult leaders are saying in here, I'm just like, I agree with that. And it's giving me this cognitive dissonance, but they're the bad people. But bad people can say good things too. So, anybody is acceptable to it. I'm really enjoying this book. I also have a tradition of starting off my new year by reading something that's an autobiography or memoir. And so I picked this one for this year, and I'm really excited about it. I'm already loving it. The second book on my list that I have to read this year is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't think I've read any of her other books, and I've definitely seen this make its round on BookTube and Book Talk and just Goodreads, just seeing people talk about it. I think that it's been a very well read book. For me, what really draws me to it is that I love old Hollywood. I went through a phase kind of recently where I was trying to find Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn movies. I think it's just cool to see them in their element, to just see, because at one time that the past was the present. And I'm just I love history. I always say I live in the past. My dissertation was about like nostalgia and life on television in the 90s for Black people, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really into that kind of thing. I'm intrigued by the fact that it's old Hollywood. I like the old Hollywood glam, that kind of aesthetic. I read a book not too long ago called Did You Hear About Kitty Carr, which was about, also had to do with old Hollywood, but about a Black woman who was passing as a white woman at that time, and she became like this famous movie star. So old Hollywood, I keep saying that, old Hollywood glam, secrets being unearthed, aging, because this lady was, you know, at her prime back in the, I'm guessing the 50s. And yeah, the 50s. And now, you know, she's older. She's an elderly woman, and she's talking about her life and all the secrets that she had. So I'm just very interested to read a book about that because, you know, I'm 30 years old now, and I've gained a wealth of knowledge in just the past year. And so I'm just interested to see, even though it's a fictional character, how like they've lived their life, the lessons that they've learned, the secrets that they have, just to kind of, you know, continue to build these connections and parallels. So I'm very excited about this book, and I've heard really good things about it. I'm shocked that there's not like a movie or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen soon. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens soon. Okay, the next book on my list is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And I actually first got wind of this book on Kalila Denson's YouTube channel, Kalila D. I think this book talks about, I'm not really sure exactly what the narrative here is, but I know that it has to do with time travel. And I think the premise is like, you know, somebody getting a chance to go back and maybe write something that they've done wrong, or being able to redo a situation. Because, you know, we all have those moments, I think, where we're just like, if I didn't do that, or if I did do that, how would things have turned out? And so this book explores that, and that's another thing that I'm really interested in. It's why I love to build more Christmas, the time travel kind of aspect. So I'm very excited to read this. The next book I don't have on hand. It's Matriarch by Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom. If I can insert like a picture of the book here or something, I will do that. But when I saw she was releasing that, it was a no-brainer because Beyonce's not about to give us a book. So I need to get some sort of information from somewhere. And I'm just very fascinated by that entire family, like their lineage. They seem to have a lot of history that they know of. And I think that's really important. So, you know, Beyonce may release a book one day, maybe, and that book will go like bestseller list a million times over, I'm pretty sure. But her mom doing that, I'm not gonna say it's the next best thing, because it's great. That's a great thing in its own right. I'm very interested to read about her mom. I'm also interested to know anything that I can get about Beyonce from the book. So I'm happy to, you know, and again, I love like memoirs and autobiographies, so I'm excited to delve into that world. The next book on my list I also don't have in front of me. It's Grown Woman by Sarai Johnson. I'm actually in a book club where I live, and it's called Well Read Black Girl, and that's one of the books on the list. And so this one, I wrote down that it's about moms and daughters and the love-filled but complicated relationships they share. And so as the older that I've gotten, you know, I love my mom. My mom loves me. I have a great mom. But you know, we as daughters, and also our mothers, I think we all know that kind of friction that we experience that's just very special to that mother-daughter relationship. And so I really thought that it would be eye-opening and kind of just like a big hug to read a book about that. I don't think that it's like I don't know if it's a feel-good book, but I saw good reviews for it, so I don't think that it's not a feel-good book, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited to read that. When I saw that it was about mothers and their daughters and like the tensions that we have, but also the love that we share, I was like, yeah, that's something that would resonate with me. The next book, also don't have in front of me, it's called Funny Story by, what's her name? Emily Henry. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I read People We Meet on Vacation this past year, and I thought it was pretty good. I felt like it was a solid read. It didn't like blow my mind or anything. I did feel like it was kind of, it's not that it was long, the font was very small. I think if it was bigger, then the book probably would have been longer, but it it was not a bad book. It was a good book, a pretty solid book. I'm pretty sure that I gave it a good review. I probably gave it like 3.5 or 4 stars. But I keep hearing from Kalila D about Funny Story. And I was just like, I like Emily Henry's writing. And if that book gets such high reviews and I enjoy it, people we meet on vacation, then I want to read that too. And my understanding of that story is it's about a man breaking up his engagement when he realizes he's in love with his childhood best friend. And then the exes meet and they get together. And I was just like, oh, that's messy. That is messy. I think what happens is that the exes don't like meet and then just fall for each other. It's kind of like a ruse because they're hurt that they both been left by the people that they're with for them to get back with each other. So they kind of, I think they want to make their exes jealous, and then it turns into like a real thing. And I'm just like, wow, can you imagine? Like for the exes themselves, I'm imagining if they're normal human beings, for you to do something like that, for you to break off a relationship to go back to someone else, I'm sure that was hard for them in the sense that they probably didn't want to hurt who they were with. But then on the opposite side of that, I'm also thinking about these people that have been hurt and now they are finding love with each other unexpectedly. And I'm just like, there's just so many complicated feelings that can come from that. And I think that is a story that it would take a very skilled person to write. And I've heard great things about that from Kalila D. And also I've looked it up on Goodreads and seen what people had to say. So I'm excited to read that book so much so. Okay. And that was number 6. Number 7 is the last on this list. Like I said, my resolution for this year, I want to read 20 books. That's actually what I read in 2017 when I first started getting back into reading. I would like to try to do that. But I only have 7 here, so if you guys want to recommend me any other ones, I'm very open to that. But my last one is The Secret Keeper of Main Street. And this was actually a Christmas gift to me by my boyfriend. I told him that I wanted a book and I wanted him to, I didn't tell him what book I wanted him to pick it out for me. Because I thought that's just it's very sweet, because somebody has to go to a bookstore or they have to go online and they have to read. They have to think about what genres you like, what kind of person you are. They have to read the synopses and be kind of like intentional about, okay, I'm going to get this book for her because I think she would like it. And so when I opened this and I read the synopsis, I smiled because I know why he got it for me. I am a lover of historical fiction, Black historical fiction specifically. Like in general, I love historical fiction, but like Black historical fiction, like set in like the 1950s or something like that. I enjoy reads like that, so like historical reads and stories about Black people. And so what he found for me, and I've never heard of this book, so like I'm very excited to read it. It says, in 1950s oil-rich Oklahoma, Bailey Dowry, a dressmaker with the gift of second sight, reluctantly reveals the true loves and intentions of her socialite clients, making her a silent witness to a shocking crime. So the year is 1954 in the quaint town of Mendel, Oklahoma. Brides whisper that dressmaker Bailey Dowry can tell if their love is faithful and foresee the success of a marriage. Bailey possesses a unique gift inherited from her mother. Despite her Aunt Charlene's caution to avoid meddling in white folks' business, Bailey occasionally provides discreet readings during fittings at the Regal Gown Shop. A mere graze of skin allows her fleeting glimpses of her clients' hopes and dreams, and even their past and future. To shield herself from learning too much, she wears gloves as she pins them into their gowns. Elsa Grimes is the least jubilant bride Bailey has ever encountered, although she hails from one of Oklahoma's wealthiest oil families. Despite her impending grand society wedding, Elsa begs for Bailey's assistance. She wants to know if the one she truly loves feels the same way, but what Bailey sees instead shocks her to her core. When a prominent family son is found dead on the eve of Elsa's wedding and the bride-to-be is accused of murder, Bailey finds herself thrust into a storm that threatens not only her, but everyone she holds dear. Isn't that something? So I'm already very excited about the setting of the book and the genre of the book. I don't normally pick like mysteries, but I read a horror book this past year, The Reformatory, that ended up being my favorite book of the year. So I'm very excited about this, and just the fact that it was his gift to me for Christmas, one of his gifts to me, just made me even more excited to read it. Not like that. So that's the end of that. Those are the 7 books that I am very excited to read in 2025. Again, if you have any more recommendations for me, I'm open to them because my goal is to read 20. So I have like a lot of, open space. So the next thing that I wanted to do was to kind of going from my last book, which was a gift. I also want to talk about the other Christmas gifts that I got. And I'm just sharing them because they are mostly bookish themed, so I thought it would be good to include on this channel. So again, one of the gifts I got was this book from my boyfriend, The Secret Keeper of Main Street. Actually, all these gifts are going to be from him. Yeah, I got other things. But like the ones that I'm sharing are going to be like most relevant to this channel. Okay. Actually, so this is not a bookish thing. I'm already veering from the thing. This is not a bookish thing, but I want to share it anyway. It's the Bratz. I don't know how I can make anything focus. Bratz Flaunt Your Fashion. I've been nostalgic my whole life. I was probably nostalgic as soon as I was born. But I told my boyfriend I have a Switch and he's a gamer, and I was like, I want a video game, and I told him that I wanted this video game. So I'm excited to play it. I don't want to start playing it yet because I feel like it's probably going to be super simple and very short and I don't want it to be over yet. So I'm just enjoying it in the packaging right now. But this is one of my gifts. So, this is also a channel for that, Cozy Hobbies. So this is one of my hobbies, playing games, and I'm very excited that I have the Bratz game. Another gift that I got is this crew neck. It says Hot Girls Read Books. Love that. From my boyfriend again, I literally made him a list of everything that I wanted, and I really feel like but it's a list, but he was able to kind of put his own flair on it. So like he picked his own book that he wanted me to read. I got this thing, and so I like that. His style is over what I wanted to get. I also got a Kindle. Is it on? Yep, it's still on. This is like really good battery life. I got this on Christmas. I turned it on Christmas, and it's still on 40-something% battery life. So I think this is the Kindle Paperwhite. I think that's how you say that, Paperwhite. And yeah, my roommate from college, she reads a lot, and we were talking via Instagram DMs, and she was telling me that she asked her boyfriend for a Kindle for Christmas. So of course, then I asked my boyfriend for a Kindle for Christmas. And I feel like for the longest time, I have been a traditional book reader. Like I don't know how long audiobooks have been out, but I listened to my first audiobook this year, and I enjoyed the experience. So but I typically feel like I just enjoy having a book in my hand and I'm turning the pages. But because I enjoyed the audiobook so much, I'm just like, I can see this being something that I like too, especially if I'm traveling somewhere and it's just a hassle, I guess, to have a book. And then also because it's on the screen and there's like the backlight, I think that would be a very big convenience for me. But yeah, so this is one of the gifts that I got. I'm very excited to use it. Yeah, it said that it was Paperwhite Kids, and so I was just kind of skeptical about that. I'm like, can I even like read when I want to read off here? But you can. If somebody ends up gifting you this and it's Paperwhite Kids, you can just, what that really means is that the kids side of it has no ads. I think that's why a lot of adults buy it, but you can just pay like $20 extra on Amazon to get the ads taken off. And all the ads are is when you open it up, there's often like an advertisement right here you have to swipe past. There's not like ads popping up as you're reading your book. So this was another one of my gifts. Super excited about it. I also was thinking of this more as a stocking stuffer, but I mentioned to him that I needed like bookmarks because I'll use anything to just hold my place in a book. But he literally got me like all of these. There's like maybe 10 copies of each, but I will not need a bookmark for a very long time unless I just somehow spontaneously lose all of these at once. But yes, I got bookmarks. That was another thing. I didn't know the backs of them were different colors. Yeah, a whole case of these. I thought that was funny. My brother, one of his gifts to me was this mug, and I'll probably just put it. I really love these. I got so many doctor themed like drinkware for like graduation gifts. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, add to the collection. But I really like this one. It says a wise doctor once wrote. And so I'm definitely going to have it up here on my computer desk. And I like that this is on there because I do spill things a lot. And then I guess the last thing that I want to share is this crochet kit. When I was younger in summer camp, one of the summer camp counselors taught the kids how to crochet because she was crocheting, and we all wanted to know what she was doing and how she was doing it. So she ended up just teaching us. And so we went to the store and we bought yarn and crochet needles, and we would just sit there and like she would teach us different stitches. And I thought that was so interesting. Like, it wasn't a part of the summer camp, but we saw her doing something that she really enjoyed, which was crocheting, and we went and asked her about it, and then it became like a whole thing. And I still know those stitches. Like, I still can make things. This is a quilt that I started not too long ago that I want to keep working on. But yeah, so I asked for yarn for Christmas, and my boyfriend ended up getting me this this kit. The yarn in it, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna use it because they're not like super huge. Yeah, they're not super huge. So I'm going to figure out what I'm going to use that for. I might actually use them to make bookmarks too, because I saw some of those on Pinterest. And I guess I'll include this too since it's sitting right here. But I also got a foot massager. Also from my boyfriend. Can you tell that I asked him to rub my feet a lot? So I guess he's kind of like, all right. But that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Nothing too fancy. I just wanted to share with you the books, some of the books that I'm very excited to read in 2025. And I wanted to show you some of my Christmas gifts that I got. Yeah, it's New Year's Eve. I hope that you guys have a beautiful, peaceful, safe, love-filled 2025. I hope that at the time that I'll have posted this video, will already be past the New Year's probably. So I just hope that you guys have safe celebrations. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You know, it's always important to have goals, but remember the importance also of slowing down and resting, and that your worth is not tied to everything that you do, like your accomplishments, what you create. You're just as valuable when you're just doing nothing, when you're sleeping, when you're watching a Netflix show, when you're reading a book. So I pray that you guys have fruitful, beautiful years, a safe celebration tonight, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.